There's a specific feeling that comes with remembering the end of a school day. The bell ringing. The mad dash out the gates. The freedom that stretched ahead until dark. If you were a kid in 1960s Australia, the hours between 3:30 p.m. and sunset were entirely yours. Just you, your mates, and the neighbourhood. Today we are looking back at 10 everyday things Australian kids did after school in the 60s. The routines that shaped those afternoons. The freedom that defined childhood. First thing after dumping your school bag? Check the letterbox. Not for bills. For messages from your mates. Kids didn't have phones. So you left notes. Folded pieces of paper. Torn from exercise books. Scrawled in pencil. Meet at the park after school. Bring your cricket bat. Come over. Got new comics. You'd check your letterbox. Sometimes there'd be something. Most times there wouldn't. But when there was, excitement. Sometimes you'd leave your own messages. Ride to your mate's place. Shove a note in their letterbox. Ride off. They'd find it when they got home. Know the plan. The letterbox was your communication hub. Your message center. That feeling of finding a note with your name on it?
Pure magic.
Your afternoon suddenly had direction. Adventure waiting. Soon as you got home, the radio went on. The afternoon shows. 2SM 3KZ. 4BH. Whatever your local station was. Kids Request Hour. The Hit Parade. Australian Top 40. You'd hear songs everyone at school was talking about. The Easy Beats. Normie Rowe. The Master's Apprentices. The DJ would crack jokes. Read out dedications. This one's for Sharon in Marrickville. From Danny. You'd sit at the kitchen table. Homework spread out. But really listening. The radio was your window to what was cool. What was happening. Always there. Background soundtrack to your afternoon. Mum doing the ironing. You doing homework. Dad coming home. Radio playing through it all. Connecting you to a whole country doing the exact same thing. You wanted to go fast? You built a billy cart. After school, you'd gather in someone's garage. Whoever's dad had the most tools. You'd scrounge materials. Wooden crates from behind the greengrocer. Old pram wheels from the tip. Rope for steering. You'd hammer it together. Drill holes. Thread the rope. Test the steering. No plans.
No instructions.
You just figured it out. Took days sometimes. Building it properly. Making it strong. Then came test day. You'd drag it to the top of the biggest hill in your suburb. One kid would climb in. Someone would push. And down you'd go. Flying. Wind in your face. Trying desperately to steer. Sometimes you'd crash. Spectacular wipeouts. Gravel rash. Bruises. You'd dust yourself off. Go again. That billy cart was freedom. Speed. Achievement. You'd built something real. Something that worked. Most suburbs had a creek. Usually dirty. Often smelly. Absolutely fascinating. After school, you'd head down there. Shoes off. Pants rolled up. You'd wade in. Cold water. Muddy bottom squelching between your toes. Looking for treasure. Tadpoles. You'd catch them in jars. Try to raise them into frogs. Yabbies hiding under rocks. You'd let them pinch you. Flick them back. Old bottles buried in the mud. Blue glass. Brown glass. Ancient looking. Sometimes you'd build dams. Stack rocks. Divert the water. Your shoes would be soaking. Pants covered in mud. Hands black. Mum would see you coming. You've been in that creek again. You'd get a lecture about disease. About ruining your good school shoes. But you'd be back tomorrow. Because that creek was nature. Discovery. A little bit of wilderness right in your suburb. The real business happened after school. At the fence. Kids would linger. There were trades to be made. Marbles mostly. Everyone played marbles. Everyone had a collection. You'd pull out your best ones. Show them off. Cat's eyes. Glassies. Steelies. The prized Aggies. Big. Heavy. Swirled with color. I'll trade you 2 cat's eyes for that steely. Nah. 3 cat's eyes and a glassy. Negotiations. Serious business. If you'd won big at lunchtime, You'd have new marbles to show off. If you'd lost, you'd be trading your way back up. Comics got traded too. Phantom, Superman,
Melmeksin.
those trades would go on for half an hour. Kids clustered at the fence. Bags open. Negotiations everywhere. Teachers would eventually shoo you off. Go home. School's finished. But you'd already made your deals. Pockets heavier. Collection improved. Couple of times a year, the school concert was coming. After school meant rehearsals. You'd stay back. Head to the assembly hall. Join the chaos. Kids everywhere. Practicing recorder. Rehearsing plays. Learning dance routines. Teachers would be frazzled. Year 3. Over here. Year 5. Stop mucking around. You'd run through your parts. Over and over. If you played recorder, you'd sit in rows. Squeaking through greensleeves. If you were in a play, you'd practice your lines. Costumes were cardboard and crepe paper. The whole thing was amateur. Rough. But it was yours. Those rehearsals were hot. Repetitive. Boring sometimes. But they taught you something. How to perform. How to work with a group. And when concert night came and you nailed it. Worth it. You weren't supposed to see this. But everyone knew it happened. After school, the older kids, 15, 16-year-olds, would head behind the shelter shed. And they'd smoke. You'd walk past. Pretend you weren't looking. But you were. They'd be leaning against the brick wall. Cigarettes cupped in their hands. Alpine. Viscount. Whatever they'd nicked from their dad's packet. They'd spot you watching. What are you looking at? Squirt. You'd keep walking. Fast. But you'd seen it. The forbidden thing. The adult thing. Those older kids seemed impossibly cool. Impossibly grown up. Breaking rules right there on school grounds. And they didn't care. You'd tell your mates later. I saw them smoking again. It was scandalous. Thrilling. Dangerous. You'd never disobey. That wasn't done. But you'd remember it. And wonder what it felt like to be that old. That bold. When Dad got home from work, he'd head straight to the shed. And sometimes he'd call you over. Come give me a hand. You'd follow him out. The shed smelled like sawdust and oil and tobacco. Tools hung on the wall. Everything in its place. He'd be fixing something. Building something. Hold this steady. You'd hold the timber while he sawed. Hand him tools. Learn by watching. Measure twice. Cut once. He'd teach you things. How to hammer a nail straight. How to sand with the grain. Sometimes you'd work in silence. Other times he'd tell you stories. That time in the shed was sacred. Just you and Dad. You'd emerge an hour later. Hands dirty. Sawdust in your hair. Dad would ruffle your hair. You did good today. And you'd feel 10 feet tall. You wanted to impress your mates? You needed to nail your handstand. After school, you'd practice. Against the brick wall of your house. Hands down. Kick your legs up. Walk them up the wall. Hold yourself there. The blood would rush to your head. Your arms would shake. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 15 if you were good. Then crash down. Try again. Every day you'd practice. Getting stronger. Holding it longer. Neighborhood kids would wander past. How long can you hold it? Watch this. You'd kick up. They'd count. 1, 2, 3. If you made it to 20, you were a legend. That handstand became your thing. Your party trick. When you finally nailed it, solid, controlled, long, you'd show everyone. Simple skill. But it was yours. You'd earned it. Sometimes, after everything, you'd just sit. Front step. Late afternoon sun. Just watching. The neighborhood winding down. People coming home from work. Mr. Peterson parking his Holden. Loosening his tie. Mrs. Williams bringing in her washing. Basket on her hip. The paperboy on his bike. That distinctive thwack of paper hitting concrete. Kids being called inside for tea. Graham. Time to come in. Dogs barking. Somebody's radio playing. The ABC News. You'd just sit there. Taking it all in. Not thinking anything particular. Just being. Your street felt alive. Connected. Everyone knew everyone. Sometimes a mate would ride past. CYA tomorrow. Mum would poke her head out. Tea's nearly ready. But you'd sit a bit longer, watching the light change. That street was your world. Those people were your community. This was home. Completely. And sitting there, you felt it. Belonging. Safety. Connection. Eventually you'd head inside. Tomorrow you'd do it all again. 10 everyday things that filled those precious hours between school and sunset. You learned to entertain yourself, to build things, to connect with people, to just be. Those afternoons weren't scheduled or supervised or structured. They were meant to be lived, experienced, explored. Now kids' afternoons are programmed. Every minute accounted for. We've gained safety and structure, but we've lost something irreplaceable.